Welcome back to Go Rust. I'm Buddy Lindsay, and we are doing a live stream of a project where we're building a TUI based application to kind of replicate what Postman does. There are alternatives out there that do the same thing, but I'm doing this as a way to learn Rust and a way to learn Ratatouille to be able to make um, TUI based applications. Something I've always wanted to do. Give me 1 second here. Okay. Trying to link someone to thing. It's not going. There we go. Copy. All right. Let us do this. So I don't exactly remember where I left off. It's been 2 weeks. Took last week off for Memorial Day weekend to do stuff with the family, and I also was working on my house, uh, adding a uh, adding a front porch and closing that in, and so or not closing, anyway, had to do some stuff on the house, and so I needed the time. So let's jump into what we have. And I don't 100% sure remember where we left off in last week's thing. I know we converted over to using a widget. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to mention. Give me a second. As part of the learning process, I have been working on a separate app, a different app, again to learn, but also as a software developer, what's the best way to have a to-do list? And that is to create a to-do list application. I think this is low-hanging fruit for people, and that's why they kind of want to jump on doing it, because it's an interesting way to learn and potentially make something useful. Well, I'm making a to-do list application using Ratatouille, and it's something that I want, and there's some specific ways that I want this to happen. But the interesting part about it is I specifically want my to-dos to be in separate files that are markdown files with extra information in there. So this is actually part spec, part TUI application. And we have this markdown file and this markdown spec. The spec is changing. I need to actually update this README based on current information. And then I'm releasing the source code open source, and I'm moving through it. But I have kind of some more of the stuff going on. In the main.rs, I actually have it slimmed down where I'm doing a terminal. This is based on some example code in Ratatouille, where basically initting the terminal and then and then restoring the terminal. If we go look at the term.rs, it's initting by creating a new cross-term backend, enabling raw mode, and then we're doing the alternate screen. And then the restore, again, is that unrolling of what we've done, and the disable raw mode and the exit back to leaving the alternate screen. That is the same as this right here. It's the kind of the boilerplate to start into the TUI application. I've just abstracted it out into another area. Crap. What's going on? Something. Uh-oh. There we go. Another thing I want to show off is at the end of last week, we did the polling. I now actually understand what that was doing in some of the code base. So we're doing the next event, and we're polling based on the timeout, and we're doing the event.read, and then we're returning the event if something is there to return. Let's go back to the source here, and app is kind of where some of this is happening. So they handle the key press. We're doing the timeout. I did the timeout that they did because they like that for doing GIFs. And then we're matching the next event. And if it's key press, we're saying, hey, go down here and do a thing. One of the things that is interesting is that I found out is this right here, matching on the underscore, swallows everything that is a match on it. And so how I figured that out is I was trying to run it and it just didn't work right. And then finally I looked at a different error and that led me back here. So this underscore swallows um, the other things you need to match on if you don't care about them. In this case, I don't care about them. I only care about the key press, so I'm matching. And then we're going down here. And then I can match on this and do stuff. So in this case, if I hit Q, it quits. And if I hit tab, I go through tabs. So that is an awesome thing that I figured out in a kind of doing some example code, and then I implemented in here is how to do tabs. So I know how to do it, and we're going to implement it in here in this. But just kind of moving on, we're doing the render tabs here and render project because it's a project based in the to-do application. So I've actually been able to do a few things with Ratatouille and making an application and getting it to work. It's been a lot of fun. I can take some of those learnings from doing this project and apply it to what we're working on with our TUI post application. I think it's going to be fun. Let's see, is there anything else on this specifically that I wanted to show? No. I think I'm good at the moment. I think some of the learnings will make it into the TUI post, but this is an application that I kind of want because again, you got to make a to-do app if you want to have a to-do list. All right, let's jump back into our application and figure out where we left off. I'm probably gonna do some copying and pasting just to slim things up. All right, so we're doing app 2 and run. So app 2 current screen is current screen. All right, so yeah, we're doing the is running, the render, handle input. I kind of did it a little differently here. We're handling this in here instead of over in the term module, like I did in the other. Let's see, cargo run. Okay. Yeah, so here we go. Implementing the widget. So another thing, let's go ahead. Let's do impl app 2. Oh, stop it! Impl app 2. We want to pub function render tabs. I think I was self area rect buff percent mutable buffer, and we aren't going to worry about that at the moment. We also want to pub function impl nope pub function render header. See about letting this complete. So I want to take this, paste that in there. What in the world? There we go. Title. So this is going to be area. Yeah. Okay. All right, there we go. That should be good. So we want to do self dot render header, title, and buffer. All right. If self dot render tabs. For the moment, we just want to move this here. And we're going to do area. There we go. All right. Let's come back here. There we go. It looks the exact same. Still have auxiliary queue to quit. Good to go. Okay. So the next thing is we want to deal with what is a tab. So a tab has a verb input, a URL input, response data. To implement tab. Trying to think if we did a default. Let's come back to default tab. Not gonna worry about that in a moment. All right, let's do impl tab, and we want to do hub function render. That's all the stuff that we want. Vertical layout, header, body. Don't necessarily want this. Actually do want that. But we don't want that. Let's do pub function render inputs. Self area rectangle buff. What? Buffer. Let's see. Verb default title. Resolve. Paragraph. Verb input as ref. I don't know about that. Yeah, let's not go with auto clear that. So we want a let area, no, not area because that's already overloaded. Let layout equals layout horizontal. Let's try that. Then we want to do, there we go. Yep, we want that. And then we want to get our, let's see. How did we do that? Split source UI, yeah. And we wanted verb select verb. Let's yank this. Paste Expand styled verb text style default. It's potentially all fine. You know what, let's verb select equals line back of get. Oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah. Okay, so active tab URL clone. Let's do uh URL dot to string verb text. Let verb check. There we go. That's what I wanted. And let's do oh, come on. There, okay. Okay. So that should render out what I want. But we want to split it. We want this to be render inputs. Woo, did not want to do that. Okay. Okay. All right, so we have a tab. So let's come down to our render here. Let's go to render tab, render tabs, just to show it as an experiment here. There we go. And let's do let tab equal tab. There we go. And then do tab.render. All right. So the reason I just quit out and came back into the file is sometimes the LSP stuff just goes wonky. I need to close out and reopen to get it to go back right. All right. So, cargo build. Wow. There we go. Woo! We got it. It worked. It worked. I was not expecting that at all. Yeah, that was a surprise. Excuse me. All right. Let's talk about it. So what we've done here is we said, hey, we have a header. That's probably where we're going to render our actual tabs. And then we want to render, and that's just, in this case, just text. It's like, hey, it's a header. And then we wanted, actually, we want to render tab. It's actually what we want. And this is the specific tab. We are passing it the area that we want in the layout that we want to render it out to, and the buffer that we want to render to. In this case, we created a tab. This is an object that has its own render method applied because it's a widget. And then in this case, we want to do a vertical layout. Yeah, this is a new layout. Right? Right? Yeah. So we're creating a new layout for this area, literally for this area, and we want a upper bar and a lower area, a lower box. So we're constraining what those are going to be, and we're popping out the header, and we're just going to be our user inputs, and we're going to have the body. In this case, we were going to render out what the inputs are. So we're passing in the area that we deconstructed for the header down into the render inputs. And this is an area. Inside of this area, we want a horizontal layout because we want to split to two different text boxes. And so inside of that, we're going to do layout, and we're going to have the verb input and the URL input. And then we're just going to go ahead and render out what those are going to be. And because these two are paragraphs, basically, at the end of the day, we're just going to render what they are. So, yeah, we have this. I mean, we have our, this is what we had in the beginning. All right. So, that shocked me, to be honest, that it worked that quickly. All right, what we want to do next is we want to have multiple tabs, but we want a default tab. Where, so the main app, we're going to have to code organize this better. App 2, we want pub tabs equal, pub tab is a vec of tab. Then we want pub current tab to active tab is a usize. Then we come down. Did we do the default? Did we implement default for app 2? Simple default for app 2. We're going to do a new tab, obviously. Active tab is 0, current is main. Yeah. Yeah, and I'll bet if I go here, yeah, that's what it is. Sweet. So with that in mind, uh, we now have that. So let's come back down here where we are not handling input. We want app 2. We're going to render the tab. In this case, we want to get self.tabs. We want the .active tab. We want to render that. Yeah. All right. So, oh, the next thing that we want to do, probably have to look up the syntax on this. Let's go source. No, let's go back here. Apps. This right here is what I want. Kill that. Cool. Let's self dot active tab. Okay, and then we want let tab titles. We want to do this as string references because we really str equal self.tabs dot iterator. We're going to map that and we're going to do a closure. And then inside of that closure, we're going to do, ooh. Okay, yeah. Well, let's try, oh, crap. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. Side of that, we want to do tab dot input, no, tab dot URL input dot split uh, and two and as stir think. Let's not say we did on that. Let's just do verb input. Let's just do that. Hold on. I tried to go from memory on this thing. Tabs. Verb input. Ah, that's what a back of string. That's where I went wrong. I was that close. So close to knowing what I'm doing. Alright, now cargo run. Cool. Uh, so just to show it works, actually, let's do. Where's our user input here? If main key code tab. There we go. Cargo build. Should I do something dumb? Okay. So now let's go to our default for app. And what I want to do is let tab2 equals tab. But for this, I want to do post, just for the difference. Tab2. Go. Cargo run. See here? Whoop. Have get and post. These are my tabs. And then I'm tapping back and forth between the two. Literally with a tab, I'm tapping back. Cute. To finish. Okay. So it's not all that great in the grand scheme of things, because you just came verb and URL, verb and URL. So let's change. Yeah. So we're in a tab. Let's do self dot verb input dot clone self dot URL. Okay. And this is just cloning it for this render of this frame. So it doesn't matter if we're cloning it in all reality. Now let's do it. There we go. See right here, it's changing. So we are successfully tabbing through our tabs. Post. How awesome is that? How awesome is that? I like it. Take a drink. I'm getting better at this. All right. Next thing. So let's do a little moving around. We're gonna do source, edit source, tab dot py. Okay, edit. So let's do this. Yoink. Paste. Okay. So let's do use crate. Tap tap. I think if you do, let's see, source app here. Wait, where am I at? No, I didn't want. Wanted this and do mod tab. Consider importing one of these. No. What? Oh. Might help if I properly save a file. There we go. Cargo run. We can still tab through our tabs. There we go. We got it. We're good. All right. I actually think this needs to go over here as well. So we're going to start moving around some of our implementation to kind of separate our code out a little bit. So this is going to handle the app structure. So that's why we have active tabs over here and tab. One thing I've not really gone into is user input and validation between tabs. I'm just going to do this a rough way. I would like to manage user input over here inside of the tab. Not 100% sure how to do that at this moment, so let's start here. So in the case of, let's see, let's look at this old app implementation and see if, okay, so we have the make request, get active tab. I don't care about any of that, to be honest with you. Uh, yeah. Okay. Let's add that back. Okay. So we have an editing mode. Let's go with Source main. We need to figure out how we're doing. Review how we were doing. Uh, Stuff. So currently editing. Hmm. Just need to bring this back in there. Then we want to do tabs, West information there. Okay. So yeah, so when we hit U, we want it to set the app to currently editing. So in the case of over here, we want to do, so if we do key code car U, so that's if we're on the current screen and we hit U, we want to switch self.current screen to editing. Self.tabs.active tab. Yep. Currently editing to URL. That's what we want. Do, do, do. Yeah. Yeah, tabs does not have a currently editing. Um, okay. Sorry, I need to open up app. I think that's not what I want. Apparently, I can't remember how to set marks. I've been working since 7:30 this morning, and it is 9:30, 9:45 at night. So it's about a little over 14-hour day today for me. So My brain is not 100%. All right. Yes. So we want to set currently editing to a request information type. So we want pub currently editing option. Yep, that's what we want. Um, and then if we do so that's the URL, and that's the verb. All right, and then current screen. So if we're in editing mode, no, we don't want that in editing mode. We want escape. And we want to set the current screen to main. And then yeah. Cargo build. Yeah. In app 146, 146. Oh yeah. That's gonna go away. All this app is gonna go away at some point. Cargo build. Cargo run. So we do that. And then if I do Q now, so I'm trying to update the URL, and I'm hitting Q to quit, and it's not quitting. Hitting tab, nothing. So if I escape, we should be back in the main mode, and I can now tab, and I should hit Q to quit. There we go. I guess our interaction better figured out. All right, now let's open up our. I think we were in main. Ah, look at that. Oh, currently editing is none. That's a good point. Uh, there we go. All right. So we're in current. Okay, there we go. This is the this is what I was after. So, but in currently editing, if it is that, then we want to do uh, we want to get let mute tab. Go. And we're gonna do tab.currently editing. Match editing. Da, 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 da. Same thing. Tab. That. But I don't want to consider borrowing. I don't want to borrow. Oh, yeah, I could borrow there. But I want to mutate. What? It's working. Is it working? So exciting! Oh, I'm so happy about this. All right. That's interesting. Let's take the mutability out, the mute off. Now let's do it. Cargo run. Let's do URL. We're gonna escape tab URL. Escape tab. Okay. I'll have to think on that one. All right. Oh, because I'm borrowing it as a mutable tab right here. I don't need the mute there because let mute is we're defining the variable. Okay. I get it. I get it. All right. I mean, that's pretty darn awesome. All right, let's go over to here. We want to do make request, yoink. And we want to go to edit source tabs. And we want to paste that. We are in the active tab. We're going to do self.url. Self.response data. Um, to be honest, I'm a little just gonna do that for now. Response self.response data is what I'm gonna do there. Um, response data. Let's do our render body now. Render body. I don't necessarily need a layout. Let's just do that. Paste that. Burlbox.render area. Where is it? Self dot response data. What? Let text equals self dot response data dot whatever. Text. Okay, whatever. I'm wearing down here. Okay, we're an app. And we're in the main screen, current screen. And we hit key code. There we go. Cargo build. Cargo run. It worked! Ah! That's awesome. Nice. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, uh, yeah, I just did a put request. I got a response back and it changed. Yeah. I mean, functionally, this thing works. Uh, and it's in tabs. And this is pretty darn exciting. Let's do some code cleanup. We have a little bit of time before I want to do this. So let's just do here. And boom. Do that. Whoops. All right, let's go with main. We no longer need this. We're not bringing in this, so we'll cut that out. Okay, run app. Yeah, we are not doing any of this. In fact, all of that has been transported to the great beyond. We don't need UI. We don't need this. We don't need this. We don't need this. Whoops. Q. Need this. This. There we go. Just simplified that. Can delete this. Got that. I think we can do rm source UI cargo build. Okay. Mod UI. Okay. Q. Escape Q. Vim source main. Yep. Mod UI. Yep. This doesn't need to be mutable. Yeah, let's do that just to appease the linter. Don't need this anymore. Okay. Kill this. Trying to appease the linters. All right. Cargo FMT. Okay. Now, let's take this off, and let's go to here. %s app2 app. Yes. Cargo build. Nice. Cargo run. Go. Nice. So quit. We're good. We are back to where we left off before we did this big old giant refactor to TUI widgets. Yeah. This is exciting. I feel like this is better code. Still need to look into that. Yeah, like we're just in a lot better position. We have multiple tabs. We will work on this later. We have it's just better all around. I want to work on the user input. I don't necessarily like the user input is solely in here. But I have to think on that. Like I said, I am spent. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're gonna call it. I think this is good. Overall, I think this was a good night. I think we accomplished a lot. We finished out the tabs. I think 2 videos ago, we started down the tabs path, and I was just totally lost. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Last video, we were like, you know what? Let's step back, and learned a lot from the Ratatouille people on doing kind of a widget based setup. Since then, I've done practicing, obviously, with the project, with this project, and we were able to successfully convert over to widgets, mostly in the last video. Finished it out this video, then brought back the we added the tabs, working tabs, and we brought in the working request stuff. So again, I think that is success, to be back where we need to be. It only took 2 videos to do the refactor and add a feature. So that's exciting. Again, I feel like the code is more organized, and I think we're ready to kind of move on to the next thing. Not 100% sure what that's going to be. And by move on, I mean inside this this application. I'm not going to move on to another application yet. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad what we did. So anyway, See you next week.